Ladies and gentlemen, we are 3.5 hours away from kickoff of the 2025 NFL season, and my heart is racing because the Dallas Cowboys play football tonight. However, in today's video, second video of the day, we are going to be predicting these SEC games that are being held this weekend. But first, if you are new to the channel, you already know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, turn that bell on as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Again, later today, we will have our Vanderbilt Dynasty video for you guys. And then tomorrow, we will have a little LSU Auburn talk, and we'll also start our Madden franchise with the Carolina Panthers in Madden 26. So, hit that sub button, leave a comment down below if you are into any Madden, EA Sports, all of that stuff, type of content. And yeah, it's game day. The NFL 2025 season is officially upon us. However, we got some business to attend to in the world of college sports. And without further ado, let us go ahead and hop right into it for week number 2. All right, so kicking us off on Saturday at 11 a.m., of course, the 11 a.m. game on ABC this week is San Jose State going into Texas. Texas coming off that loss to Ohio State, which we did talk about. Arch Manning not playing what a lot of people hyped him up to play as. Now, again, that is just first game jitters, right? It's against a big opponent, a really good defense. Obviously, I think Arch Manning is going to light this game up. I really do. I think that Arch is going to probably be taken out of that first half, or of that second half, excuse me, and then make room for other type of quarterbacks, right? So give me Texas, as they will get the job done against San Jose State. Do not pick San Jose State, whatever you do, because Texas will get the job done. Moving on, we have Utah State going into A&M. A&M struggling with UTSA in that first half, a little bit of a slow start for them. But again, early season jitters, right? First game jitters. Marcel Reed last year struggled towards the end of the year. Very interesting to see how he bounces back, in this 2025 season after last year's and them missing the SEC championship game altogether. However, I'm taking Texas A&M to win this matchup. They obviously turned on the Jets in that fourth quarter, and I expect Marcel Reed to do the same thing against a Utah State team that is not very good as well. However, both teams are 1-0. I'm going with Texas A&M, though, as they will get the job done at home. Austin Peay going into Georgia, number 4 team in the country. This could be Georgia's only other guaranteed win on the schedule. I know they play some FCS team in November, so we'll count that one. However, after this, it's Tennessee, it's Kentucky, it's Alabama, which is possibly the game that I'm going to be going to that week, which is absolutely wild to say. However, we'll talk about that later when it actually happens. Austin Peay, of course, not a very good school, not a very good team in college football, an FCS level team. I expect Gunnar Stockton to do what he did against Marshall, maybe get taken out of the game in the first half, or in the second half rather, as Georgia should get the job done at home against Austin Peay with Gunnar Stockton leading the way. I think Georgia's found their quarterback in Gunnar Stockton. I really have. And ultimately, it's going to be about him distributing the ball to these wide receivers that he has, like Zachariah Branch, who played really well in that season opener. So we'll see if Gunnar Stockton can do that, as this should be a very interesting matchup because, again, one of the only guaranteed wins on Georgia's schedule. They should be able to get the job done, though, at home against Austin Peay. Now, the 2:30 game and the first SEC conference play game, Ole Miss going into Kentucky. We all know what happened last year. Kentucky knocked off Ole Miss on the road and ultimately kicked them out of the college football playoff because, again, they had 2 losses after that, and 3 losses really is not going to get you in, but I think this year that might be different. However, with that being said, they moved on from the Jackson Dart era. Simmons is now the quarterback at Ole Miss. Obviously, you have some really good wide receivers in there, like their freshmen that they have. Caleb Cunningham, I believe, might be able to play in this matchup. However, Kentucky, Zach Calzada, they struggled in that first game against Toledo. Now they open the season at home against a college football playoff caliber team. I don't think so. Ole Miss is going to get the job done on the road in Kentucky. Moving on to our next game, of course, we have East Tennessee State going into Tennessee. Joey Aguilar showing why he is the QB1 for the Tennessee Vols. They get the job done on the road at Syracuse, bump up a little bit in the AP poll. Nice little bumping for them. Joey Aguilar threw for 3 touchdown passes in that season opener against Syracuse. I have no doubt that they are going to light up the scoreboard in this matchup, right? Give me Tennessee, as they will get the job done at 2:30 on Saturday. Now, we got Kansas going into Missouri. This is going to be an absolute banger of a game right here. Jalen Daniels versus Missouri's new quarterback, whoever it is. It starts with a P. I just can't think of his name off the top of my head. However, this is going to be an absolute banger of a game. There are some really good games in the SEC this weekend, including one that we will predict at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that one. However, I'm going to go with Kansas to get the job done. Kansas is 2-0 right now. Jalen Daniels is the truth, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why I am predicting Kansas to win. I think Missouri's defense lost a lot of talent last year in that 2024 NFL draft class. So, again, Kansas should be able to get the job done if Jalen Daniels plays like he has been playing the last couple of weeks, and they will beat Missouri this weekend. That is my prediction for that game. South Florida going into Florida. Byron Brown actually looking really solid in USF's debut season opener. He looked really good. I thought the running game for USF looked really good against Boise State as well. However, on the other side of the ball, it's Florida. It's DJ Lagway, of course. It's Nimrod, the, of course, wide receiver for Florida who's really good. And then you have, of course, a talented running back room for the Florida Gators as well. I think this is going to be a much closer game than people are predicting this game to be. The line right now is Florida 17.5. Do not take that money line. These in-state matchups always give us a banger of a game. This is a weird kickoff time as well, with a 3:15 kickoff time on SEC Network. So a little bit of a weird start feel to it in this matchup. Would not be shocked if Byron Brown can lead the USF Bulls to a victory over Florida. However, I'm rocking with DJ Lagway and the Florida Gators, as they will be a threat in the SEC and prove it in this game. They should get the job done at home against USF. Arkansas State going into Arkansas, another in-state matchup where a Sunbelt team is 1-0. Going into Arkansas, give me Arkansas. Sam Pittman needs this game to of course, stay on as the Arkansas head coach. He needs every win that he can get, right? And I believe that they are going to get the job done in this matchup. So give me Arkansas to get the job done at home. South Carolina State going into South Carolina. This is going to be I think this is going to shock a lot of people in this matchup, but I'm going to go with the Lenore Sellers. If he plays like he did that first drive, the entire game and the entire season for the South Carolina Gamecocks, they are going to be a national championship contender. Yes, you heard it here first. That is my prediction. South Carolina will get the job done and take care of business at home against South Carolina State. Arizona State going into Mississippi State. Mississippi State hosting a college football playoff caliber team, right? Arizona State, Sam Leavitt looked really good in their season opener as well. I thought Mississippi State's quarterback struggled a little bit, especially in that first half, struggling to get going where he threw an interception. So, again, I'm going to go with Sam Leavitt here in Arizona State. I'm not going to be shocked, though, if Mississippi State does somehow pull off this upset in the non-con slate, but I'm going to go with Mississippi State to get the job done. Moving on, 2 other games in the nighttime cap for the SEC before we predict the 2 biggest ones of the slate. Louisiana Tech going into LSU. Give me the LSU Tigers in this one, beating, of course, the Clemson Tigers. I know I did not talk about that in my SEC reactions video because I didn't even think about it. There was too many games to talk about. However, I'm going to go with the LSU Tigers to get the job done. They looked really good. The defense especially looked really good in that Clemson game, and I expect it to be no different as LSU will get the win at home against LA Tech. Then you have Ball State going into Auburn. We talked about it. Auburn needs to show the receiving core. They need to show how talented and how threatening this Auburn wide receiver core is going to be. Give me the Auburn Tigers, as they will be ranked once they win this matchup against Ball State. Now, A banger of a matchup here, or actually one more matchup before we talk about the bangers. We have Louisiana Monroe going into Alabama, right? We all know what happened Nick Saban's first year at Alabama. We all know what just happened last week against Florida State, right? This is Kalen DeBoer's chance to bounce back at home against Louisiana Monroe. The fans aren't going to be happy. Nobody's going to be happy. However, they will get the job done at home against Louisiana Monroe because, again, it is a Sunbelt team. However, Brian Vincent and that group is a really talented group. I should know myself. So Brian Vincent and the guys walking in there to Alabama with a chip on their shoulders, especially after last week. However, I think Deontay Lawson and Ryan Williams are going to be absolutely pissed, and they should be able to get the job done at home against Louisiana Monroe. Now, we can talk about these two banger matchups to close us out in the SEC slate and college prediction video. Vanderbilt going into Virginia Tech. This game last year was the start of the Diego Pavia era for the Vanderbilt Commodores. This is what got his name put on the map, right? Obviously that Alabama game helped, but this game they started out 1-0 at home against Virginia Tech. This time it's on the road. Virginia Tech looked really solid, they took a loss to South Carolina in their season opener. So they are having to play two SEC teams back to back in their non-conference slate. That's unheard of in this day and age right now. However, give me the Vanderbilt Commodores to go 2-0 and start out the year 2-0. I think Diego Pavia is going to light up this one. Obviously, Enter Sandman is one of the best traditions of college football, but that's not going to be enough as Diego Pavia will get the job done on the road at Virginia Tech in that matchup. And then to close us out, college game days location, ladies and gentlemen. We got Michigan. We got Oklahoma. We got Bryce Underwood, John Mateer, and his old offensive coordinator. We got Brent Venables trying to save his job at Oklahoma this year as John Mateer threw for 3 touchdown passes. This is going to be a really good game to watch because, again, lots of good quarterbacks in this matchup. This is going to be an offensive performance at its finest, if you're asking me. None of these teams have a great defense, so I'm going to go with Oklahoma to get the job done because of the experience at quarterback they have versus Bryce Underwood, right? So give me Oklahoma as they will get the job done at home against Michigan. However, not going to be shocked if Michigan wins. Trey Young, the guest picker for this one as well. It's going to be a fun one in Norman. Let me know what you thought of my predictions in the comments down below. Do not forget to like, subscribe, turn that bell on as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Later today, we will have our Vanderbilt Dynasty, so stay tuned for that. Enjoy the NFL kickoff if I do not see you, of course, in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.